Death this year in London alone. No wonder police, politicians and community leaders are desperate to find solutions to the crisis over youth crime. They might be tempted to look abroad to cities like Sao Paulo in Brazil, which has cut its annual murder rate dramatically to 4,000 compared to 130 in London. It might look like a shining example of zero tolerance in action, but there are aspects of the Brazilian model that Britain might not want to follow, as More 4 News reporter Ramita Navai discovered when she went to Sao Paulo.
10 years ago, the city of Sao Paulo had the highest murder rate of any city in the world. At its height, over 35 murders happened here every day, a war zone with no front line. But the authorities here claim the city has changed. They say the streets are safer and the murder rate has been slashed, all down to better policing methods. We've come to Sao Paulo to see just how the police have turned the city around. Thursday morning, and the police are responding to an emergency call.
We've just heard there's been a murder and we're following the police to the scene now.
We drive to the city's edge, where the high rises drop off to the favelas, the shanty towns. A woman had contacted the police after hearing a child screaming. It was her neighbour's young son, who had woken to find his mother dead in her bed.
We're in the victim's room now. They're about to cut her clothes off and investigate her body, but they say they suspect she was killed by her husband and that he shot her.
Her name was Lucy Clady. Another sad death in the poor neighbourhoods of Brazil. But there's something new to deaths in Sao Paulo in this scene: forensics. This isn't exactly CSI, but the police claim the introduction of forensics here is resulting in more convictions, which is making killings like this much less common. In 1999, almost 13,000 people were murdered in Sao Paulo. Last year, the death toll had fallen to just about a third of this, to 4,800. The police say this is down to a zero-tolerance approach and more sophisticated policing methods similar to those used in New York. To see if their claims are right, we went out with the police on a night patrol in the area the UN once declared as the most violent place on earth.
The police here have just told me that this used to be one of the most dangerous streets in this neighbourhood, and if they wanted to patrol this area, they'd need much more backup. There are already 5 police cars here.
We were told a few years ago up to 50 people were killed here every month. Now the numbers dropped to around 2 a month. Part of this is down to the fact that in the last few years Sao Paulo has beefed up its police force by 10,000 officers and almost doubled its criminal conviction rate.
This is the second vehicle the police have stopped in about 10 minutes, and the police say that they're really tough and they don't let anyone go who they think is acting suspiciously. This car just didn't have its lights on.
Years ago, it was common to see 2 or 3 people dead on every street and avenue, but I haven't seen stuff like that for about 3 years.
We asked the local police chief what the tactics were.
Yeah, there were many murders. Now there are fewer guns in circulation, mainly because we have a stop and search for illegal weapons. There's also a pact with local bar owners who bought into this that they stop selling alcohol after 10 o'clock. And this has really helped.
Another reason the murder rate has dropped in Sao Paulo is because a few years ago there was a gun amnesty. About 20,000 weapons were either confiscated or handed in. The police were offering between £30 and £60 for them.
This guns cache still receives about 20 guns a day.
There are quite a few machine guns in here, but this one is a police machine gun. You can see here it says Polícia Civil. The police told us that what usually happens in these cases is that the policeman was killed and his gun was stolen. This was found in a favela.
But in the favelas, residents say there's a darker side to this apparent success story. We arranged to meet a local criminal who agreed to speak to us anonymously. He says that it can take just a few hours to buy a gun around here. He says that lots of people have guns here and it makes him feel powerful.
Olha, tem There have been many cases where the police have been violent, and sometimes it's innocent people who are caught in the crossfire.
Police brutality in Brazil is nothing new. In 2006, a report found that police were implicated in dozens of summary killings in a crackdown on gangs. This remarkable footage shows police methods at their worst. When this suspect was found with a gun, the police took him to the back of the van, where they executed him. We spoke to the head of the Sao Paulo police, who admitted that police violence and corruption used to be a problem. His force has sacked over 2,000 officers. But the United Nations says the problem still exists.
The number of killings here is disproportionately high.
And that's the number of police killings. And would that be executions by the police?
In some cases, it is extrajudicial confrontation.
It's an uncomfortable fact that despite better technological methods, more policing and tougher laws, the police's success here in Sao Paulo has come at a price. Whilst the streets are certainly safer, the rule of law has been established with little regard to human rights.
An Algerian man facing fast-track deportation has managed